To manifest a relationship with a specific person is to trust in the unseen, the power of imagination, and the assumption that what you desire is already yours. This is not about chasing or forcing, but about aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. The power of imagination is the foundation of manifestation. It is the ability to create vivid mental pictures and emotions so real that they begin to influence the world around you. Imagination is not a fleeting thought or a passive daydream. It is an active and intentional practice where the mind takes the invisible and makes it visible. It is the inner space where reality is first formed. Everything in your life begins with what you can see in your mind before it ever becomes tangible in the physical world. The more vividly and consistently you imagine, the more powerfully your reality is shaped by those inner visions. When it comes to manifesting a specific person or relationship, the use of imagination allows you to create the experience of already being in that relationship before it appears in your external world. Through imagination, you can construct the scenes of your life, see them in your mind's eye, and feel the emotions connected to them as though they are happening in the present. This process aligns your inner world with the outcome you desire, setting in motion unseen forces that bring your vision to life. Your imagination is your greatest tool because it is unlimited. There are no constraints in the mind. You are free to create whatever scenario you wish. When you close your eyes and imagine, you can live in any reality you choose, regardless of what is happening outside. If you desire a loving relationship, you can picture yourself walking hand in hand with your specific person, enjoying deep conversations, and experiencing the joy of connection. You can imagine what it feels like to have that person by your side every day, to hear their voice, and to feel their love. In doing so, you are not merely dreaming, you are creating the reality you wish to experience. The most critical aspect of this process is emotion. Imagination without feeling is weak. To manifest something through imagination, you must feel the emotions as intensely as possible. It is not enough to just see the scenes, you must feel them as real. Feel the love, the excitement, the warmth of the relationship as if it is already yours. This emotional energy is the fuel that gives life to your imagination. The more deeply you feel, the more powerfully you attract the reality you desire. When you engage in imagination, you are not just visualizing, you are creating a new blueprint for your reality. The mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It responds to both with equal intensity. Therefore, when you imagine with clarity and emotion, your subconscious mind begins to accept this imagined reality as truth. This shifts your beliefs, your actions, and even the energy you project into the world. As your inner world changes, so too does your outer reality. People often underestimate the power of imagination because they do not see immediate results. But imagination works on an unseen level, setting into motion a chain of events that ultimately lead to manifestation. The key is consistency. You must repeatedly go to your imagination and live in the desired state as often as possible. It's a daily practice of returning to the end result, feeling the fulfillment, and knowing that what you desire is already yours. The more frequently you visit this imagined reality, the more familiar it becomes, until it feels as natural as your current reality. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to transcend time and space. You are not bound by the limitations of the present moment. In your mind, you can move forward in time, experiencing your desired future as if it is happening right now. When you do this consistently, the gap between your current reality and your imagined one begins to close. It is as though you are pulling the future into the present through the force of your focused imagination. There is also an aspect of faith involved in using imagination. You must trust that what you imagine is real and that it will come to pass, even if there is no immediate evidence in the physical world. This is where many people falter. They become discouraged when they don't see instant results. But imagination requires persistence. You must hold to your vision with unwavering belief, no matter what circumstances arise. The outer world may present challenges or delays, but your job is to remain steadfast in your imagination, knowing that what you see in your mind will eventually be reflected in your life. Another important factor is that imagination allows you to shape the details of your life exactly as you want them. You are not at the mercy of external circumstances. If there is something you desire, no matter how specific, you can create it in your imagination. You can visualize the type of relationship you want, the qualities of the person, the experiences you want to share, and the way you feel when you're together. The more detailed and vivid your imagination, the more precise the manifestation will be. Imagination is the gateway to creating the life you desire. It is not just a passive escape from reality, but an active tool for transforming your reality. Through imagination, you become the creator of your world, shaping and molding it according to your deepest desires. The key is to immerse yourself fully in the experience, feel it as real, and persist in that state until the outer world mirrors what you have created within. Assuming the feeling of fulfillment is central to the process of manifestation. It is about embracing the emotional state you would naturally experience if your desire were already fulfilled. When you assume the feeling of fulfillment, you are not focused on wanting or needing something in the future, but instead you act as though it is already yours in the present. This shift in focus, from wanting to having, is what aligns your inner state with the reality you wish to create. The feeling of already having what you desire brings that desire closer to you, making it a part of your experience. To assume the feeling of fulfillment, you must learn to live in the emotional state of your wish fulfilled. This means that even though your outer world may not yet reflect your desire, you allow your inner world to embody the emotions you would feel if it were already true. The key is to cultivate the feeling that your desire is a present reality, not something that will happen in the future. When you do this, you bypass the mental and emotional resistance that comes with wanting or longing for something that feels out of reach. Instead, you create a state of mind and heart that is in harmony with the fulfillment of your desire. This process begins by imagining what it would feel like to have already achieved what you desire. It is more than just a thought, it is a full emotional experience. For example, if you are manifesting a loving relationship, do not just think about the idea of being in love, feel the love as if it is already flowing through you. Imagine the warmth of being with your partner, the joy of shared moments, and the peace of knowing that you are cherished. Let these emotions fill you completely, to the point where they become more real than your current circumstances. The power of this feeling lies in its ability to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Most people operate from a state of lack, constantly focusing on what they don't have or what they wish to achieve in the future. This creates a sense of separation between themselves and their desires. However, when you assume the feeling of fulfillment, you collapse that separation. You act as though your desire is already part of your life, and in doing so, you bring it into alignment with your current reality. One of the challenges of assuming the feeling of fulfillment is that the outer world may not immediately reflect the change you feel within. It can be tempting to look to the physical world for confirmation that your desire is on its way. But the key is to remain steadfast in your inner experience, even if the outer circumstances don't change right away. Trust that your inner feeling of fulfillment is the true reality, and the outer world will eventually conform to it. The delay is often a test of your faith in the process. If you can persist in feeling the fulfillment of your desire, regardless of external evidence, you will witness its manifestation in time. This is not about pretending or faking happiness, but rather genuinely shifting your emotional state. It's about living from a place of gratitude and joy, as if you already have everything you need. The universe responds to your emotional vibration. When you radiate the energy of fulfillment, you attract more of that energy into your life. You are not in a state of asking or wishing, you are in a state of receiving and knowing that what you desire is already yours. This subtle but powerful shift in perspective changes everything. Assuming the feeling of fulfillment also transforms your behavior and decisions. When you feel as though your desires are already met, you naturally start to act in ways that reflect that reality. You carry yourself with confidence, make decisions from a place of abundance, and engage with the world in a more positive and empowered way. This shift in behavior further supports the manifestation of your desires as your actions begin to align with the reality you are creating within. In this state, your inner conversations also change. Instead of thinking thoughts of doubt, fear, or lack, your internal dialogue becomes one of certainty and assurance. You talk to yourself as if the desire is already yours. You don't question whether it will happen, you simply know it is done. This mental and emotional alignment is key to bringing your desire into the physical realm. When your mind, heart, and actions are all in harmony with the feeling of fulfillment, there is nothing left to resist the manifestation of your desire. Another important aspect of assuming the feeling of fulfillment is letting go of the need to control the how and when of your manifestation. When you feel that your desire is already fulfilled, you no longer worry about how it will come to pass. You trust in the natural unfolding of events and release the need to micromanage the process. This surrender is crucial because it allows the universe to work in ways that you may not expect or foresee. The more you trust in the fulfillment of your desire, the more effortlessly it will come to you. Assuming the feeling of fulfillment is about becoming a match for the reality you wish to experience. It is about cultivating the emotional state of having, rather than longing. When you live in this state consistently, you create a powerful magnetism that draws your desire into your life. You no longer see your desire as something outside of yourself, but as an integral part of your current experience. This is the essence of manifestation, aligning your inner world with the fulfillment of your desires and trusting that the outer world will follow suit. Ignoring the outer reality is one of the most crucial aspects of manifestation. It is a practice of focusing so intently on your inner vision that the current circumstances of your life, no matter how contrary they seem, do not distract or sway you. Outer reality is merely a reflection of past thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, and it is constantly changing. If you allow yourself to be influenced by what you see and experience around you, you risk reinforcing the very conditions you are trying to change. To manifest a new reality, you must place your attention not on what is, but on what could be, on the desired state you wish to create. When you choose to ignore the outer reality, you are not denying it or pretending that it doesn't exist. Rather, you are refusing to give it power over your thoughts and emotions. You recognize that what you see in the world around you is the result of past thinking, a delayed response to previous states of mind. By shifting your focus away from what already exists, you free yourself to create something new. This requires discipline, because the world is constantly pulling at your attention, offering distractions, challenges, and contradictions to your desires. However, when you train your mind to stay focused on your vision, despite the evidence of your senses, you begin to master the process of manifestation. It's important to understand that outer reality is a reflection of the inner world, that the circumstances you see in your life today are not permanent. They are simply the result of previous thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. If you dwell on those circumstances, if you react to them and give them your energy, you are essentially reinforcing them. You are telling the universe, this is my reality, and I accept it. But when you choose to ignore the outer reality, you shift your energy toward the reality you truly desire. You stop reacting to what is and start creating what could be. This practice is particularly powerful when you are trying to manifest something that seems far from your current experience. Perhaps you are seeking a relationship, financial abundance, or a career change, and the outer reality shows no signs of these things coming to fruition. In these moments, it is easy to fall into doubt, frustration, or even despair, believing that your desires are unattainable. But this is the very moment when ignoring the outer reality becomes most important. Instead of focusing on the lack of evidence, you turn inward and anchor yourself in the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. You cultivate a deep inner knowing that what you seek is already yours, even if the world around you does not yet reflect it. Ignoring the outer reality requires faith and persistence. It's easy to stay committed to your vision when things are going well, but the real test comes when the outer world seems to contradict your desires. In these moments, you must hold fast to your inner vision and trust that the outer reality will eventually align with it. This trust is not blind, it is based on the understanding that the inner world precedes the outer world. Whatever you create within yourself will eventually manifest in your external experience if you maintain your focus and belief. One way to strengthen this practice is to detach emotionally from the outer circumstances. Instead of reacting to every obstacle or setback, you learn to observe the outer reality without becoming emotionally invested in it. You see it for what it is, a temporary reflection of past thoughts. This detachment allows you to remain centered in your vision, even when the world around you is chaotic or uncooperative. By maintaining emotional neutrality toward the outer reality, you conserve your energy and direct it toward creating the new reality you desire. There is also a sense of surrender in this process. Ignoring the outer reality doesn't mean you ignore responsibilities or avoid taking action. It means you let go of the need to control or fix every aspect of your current circumstances. You trust that your inner work, the feelings, thoughts, and images you cultivate in your mind will eventually shape the outer world. You don't have to struggle or force things to happen. You simply stay aligned with your vision and allow the universe to bring it into form in its own time and way. It's important to remember that the outer reality is always changing. What seems fixed and immovable today may shift tomorrow. Conditions that appear unchangeable can transform in an instant when your inner state is aligned with the fulfillment of your desire. This is why it's essential not to get caught up in what you see around you. The more you focus on your current circumstances, the more you perpetuate them. But when you direct your attention inward and ignore the temporary conditions of the outer world, you create space for new possibilities to emerge. By ignoring the outer reality, you also free yourself from the limitations imposed by time. Often people become impatient or discouraged when they don't see immediate results. They look at their outer world and conclude that their desires are not manifesting quickly enough, and this impatience only serves to delay the process further. But when you ignore the outer reality, you detach from the concept of time altogether. You stop looking for signs of progress in the physical world and trust that the manifestation is happening in its own perfect timing. Ultimately, ignoring the outer reality is about placing your power and attention where it belongs within yourself. It's about recognizing that you are the creator of your experience, and the outer world is simply a reflection of your inner state. When you shift your focus away from the external circumstances and toward the inner vision, you reclaim your ability to shape your reality. The outer world will eventually catch up, reflecting the inner transformation you have created through your focused attention and unwavering belief. Living in the end is one of the most powerful principles in the process of manifestation. It involves aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality of your desire already fulfilled. Instead of waiting for the outer world to show you evidence that your wish is on its way, you live as if it has already happened. You mentally and emotionally place yourself at the end of your desired outcome, and you remain there consistently, regardless of what the outer circumstances may currently suggest. This practice shifts your internal state to match the frequency of the reality you are seeking to create. Living in the end begins with the understanding that your desired reality already exists in potential form. The outer world is not the final determiner of what is possible for you. Everything you desire, whether it is a relationship, career, financial success, or personal growth, exists within the realm of imagination and belief. To bring it into your physical experience, you must first claim it as your own internally. You do this by acting, thinking, and feeling as though your desire is already yours. In this state, you are no longer asking for or waiting for something to happen. You are simply embodying the state of having it now. When you live in the end, you bypass the constant questioning and doubting that often accompanies the manifestation process. Instead of wondering when or how your desire will come, you operate from the assumption that it is already done. This is not about pretending or faking belief. It is about genuinely shifting your awareness to the reality where your desire is already realized. In this state, there is no separation between you and your wish. You don't think about what you want as something outside of yourself. You see it as part of your current reality, even if the physical evidence has not yet appeared. This approach transforms your relationship with time. Most people experience time linearly, believing that they must go through a series of steps or wait for a certain amount of time to achieve their goals. But when you live in the end, you collapse the concept of time. You no longer see your desire as something in the future, you experience it as present now. Time becomes irrelevant because your focus is not on waiting or achieving, but on being in the state of fulfillment now. This shift in perspective allows you to bypass the limitations of time and open yourself to the possibility of instant or rapid manifestation. Emotion plays a critical role in living in the end. It is not enough to think about your desired outcome. You must feel the emotions that come with it. This is because feelings are the bridge between the inner and outer worlds. When you feel the joy, gratitude, peace, or excitement of your wish fulfilled, you are energetically aligning yourself with that reality. These emotions carry a powerful frequency that attracts experiences and opportunities in harmony with them. By living in the end emotionally, you magnetize your desire to you in a way that transcends logic or external circumstances. A key aspect of living in the end is the internal dialogue you maintain. Instead of engaging in thoughts of lack or doubt, your mental conversations are aligned with the fulfillment of your desire. You speak to yourself as if the outcome is already achieved. You ask yourself, how does it feel to have this, and what do I do now that I have what I want? These kinds of questions prompt your mind to explore the reality where your desire is already realized. By engaging in this inner dialogue, you reinforce the belief that your wish is a present reality, not a distant hope. One of the most profound effects of living in the end is the way it changes your behavior. When you fully commit to the state of having your desire now, your actions begin to reflect that reality. You make decisions from a place of certainty and confidence rather than fear or lack. You naturally start to move in ways that support the fulfillment of your desire. For example, if you are manifesting financial abundance, living in the end might lead you to make choices that reflect wealth, such as investing in yourself, taking bold career moves, or acting with generosity. These actions further align you with the frequency of abundance, reinforcing the state of already having it. Another important aspect of living in the end is the ability to detach from the need for immediate physical evidence. Often, people become frustrated or discouraged when they don't see immediate results in the outer world. But living in the end requires you to trust the process and know that the outer reality will eventually reflect your inner state. The physical world may take time to catch up with your internal reality, but that does not mean your manifestation isn't already on its way. The key is to remain steadfast in the feeling of fulfillment, even when the outer circumstances seem unchanged. Living in the end also requires a willingness to let go of the how and when of your manifestation. When you live from the place of already having what you want, you stop worrying about how it will come to pass. You trust that the universe will orchestrate the perfect series of events to bring your desire into physical form. This trust allows you to relax and enjoy the present moment, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. You don't need to force or control the process because you have already claimed your desire within yourself. Living in the end is about stepping into your power as a creator. It's about realizing that you have the ability to choose the reality you experience by aligning your inner world with your desires. When you live in the end, you no longer see yourself as separate from what you want. You embody the state of having it, and in doing so, you draw it into your life. This practice requires faith, persistence, and emotional discipline, but the rewards are transformative. As you continue to live in the end, you will witness the outer world shifting to match the inner reality you have created, bringing your desires into full manifestation. Faith in the unseen is the cornerstone of manifestation, a guiding force that transcends what the physical senses tell you and allows you to trust in the unseen reality that exists beyond the current circumstances. It is the deep inner knowing that, even though you may not yet see evidence of your desire in the physical world, it is already on its way. This kind of faith is not based on logical proof or tangible outcomes, but rather on an unwavering belief in the power of your imagination and your ability to create your reality through thought and feeling. Faith in the unseen is the recognition that the unseen forces, often imperceptible to the eye, are far more powerful than the visible world around you. To have faith in the unseen means to trust in the process of manifestation without needing to see immediate results. It requires you to believe in the existence of your desire, as though it were already a part of your life, even when there is no physical evidence to support that belief. This can be challenging because the mind is conditioned to rely on what it can see, touch, and measure. However, true faith goes beyond the limitations of the physical senses and taps into the infinite possibilities of the unseen world. It is the belief that what you imagine with feeling and conviction will eventually manifest in your experience, no matter how impossible it may seem at the moment. Faith in the unseen is not just about wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is an active, deliberate state of consciousness where you choose to believe in the fulfillment of your desire, even when the outer circumstances contradict it. You refuse to be swayed by doubt, fear, or the opinions of others because you know that your inner vision holds the key to your external reality. This faith is rooted in the understanding that the unseen world of imagination and belief is where all creation begins. The outer world is simply the reflection of the inner world, and when you align your inner state with your desired outcome, the outer world must eventually conform to that state. One of the most powerful aspects of faith in the unseen is the way it shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is possible. When you have faith in the unseen, you are no longer fixated on the absence of your desire. Instead, you place your attention on the feeling of having already received it. You begin to act, think, and feel as though your desire is already a reality, even if the outer world shows no sign of it. This shift in focus is essential because it moves you out of a state of lack and into a state of abundance. You stop focusing on what you don't have and start embodying the feeling of having everything you desire. Faith in the unseen also involves surrendering the need to control every aspect of how your desire will come to pass. Often people become attached to specific outcomes or timelines, believing that their desire must manifest in a particular way or at a certain time. But faith in the unseen requires you to let go of the how and when, trusting that the universe will bring your desire into form in the most perfect and harmonious way. You don't need to know every detail of the process, you only need to trust that it is happening, even if you cannot see the full picture yet. This kind of faith also teaches patience. When you are manifesting a desire, it's easy to become impatient or discouraged if the results don't appear quickly. But faith in the unseen allows you to remain calm and centered, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You understand that the timing of your manifestation is not always within your control, and you trust that the universe is orchestrating the perfect sequence of events to bring your desire to fruition. Patience becomes a natural byproduct of this faith, because you no longer feel the need to rush or force the process. You are content to live in the certainty that your desire is already on its way. Faith in the unseen also frees you from the limitations of logic and reason. The mind often tries to rationalize what is possible based on past experiences or current circumstances. It tells you that certain things are improbable or unrealistic because it cannot see a clear path to their manifestation. But faith in the unseen transcends logic. It allows you to believe in possibilities that the rational mind cannot comprehend. It is the understanding that the universe operates in ways that are far beyond the limited scope of human understanding, and that what may seem impossible today can become a reality tomorrow. This faith is also deeply tied to the power of imagination. The unseen realm is the realm of imagination, where you can create any reality you desire. When you engage your imagination with feeling and conviction, you are tapping into the unseen forces that shape your physical reality. Faith in the unseen is, in essence, faith in the power of your own imagination. It is the belief that what you vividly imagine with emotion and persistence will eventually manifest in your external world. The stronger your faith in the unseen, the more powerful your imagination becomes, and the more quickly your desires come to pass. Faith in the unseen is what sustains you in moments of doubt or challenge. When the outer world does not yet reflect your inner vision, it can be tempting to give up or lose hope. But faith in the unseen keeps you anchored in the belief that your desire is already a reality, even if it has not yet appeared in physical form. It allows you to stay focused on your vision and continue moving forward, despite any temporary setbacks or obstacles. This faith is what gives you the strength to persevere and remain aligned with your desire, knowing that it will eventually manifest. Faith in the unseen is about trusting in the invisible forces that are always at work behind the scenes. It is about believing in your own creative power and in the infinite possibilities that exist beyond the limitations of the physical world. When you cultivate this kind of faith, you become a powerful creator of your reality, able to bring your desires into form through the sheer force of belief, imagination, and feeling. You no longer rely on external evidence to validate your desires. Instead, you trust in the unseen and know that your inner vision will ultimately be reflected in the outer world. Persistent assumption is the key to unlocking the power of manifestation. It is the act of continuously holding on to a specific belief, no matter what the outer world seems to show. The principle behind persistent assumption is that whatever you assume to be true in your inner world, with enough conviction and consistency, will eventually become your external reality. It is through this unwavering belief, maintained over time, that you shape the circumstances of your life. The mind is constantly creating, whether we realize it or not, and what you persistently assume becomes the blueprint for the world around you. The idea of persistence in assumption goes beyond momentary wishful thinking. It is not enough to merely have a fleeting thought or occasional desire. Persistent assumption requires discipline and a deliberate focus on maintaining the state of mind that corresponds with your desired outcome. This is often where most people falter. They might affirm their desired state for a short while, but when confronted with opposing evidence from the outer world, they give in to doubt. True manifestation comes from the ability to hold on to your assumption with unshakable faith, even in the face of contradictions. When you persist in assuming something, you are essentially reprogramming your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind accepts as true whatever is impressed upon it consistently and with feeling. It doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply responds to the thoughts and beliefs you persistently hold. If you consistently assume that you are successful, loved, or abundant, your subconscious mind will accept this as reality and begin to influence your external circumstances accordingly. Likewise, if you persist in assuming lack, failure, or rejection, your subconscious will create conditions that reflect these beliefs. Persistence in assumption requires mental discipline. It is about training your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you fear or don't want. This means constantly redirecting your thoughts whenever they stray towards doubt, fear, or negativity. It's a practice of consciously choosing to dwell in the state of your desire already being fulfilled, regardless of what the outer world might be showing you. If you are manifesting a relationship, for example, you must persist in the assumption that you are already in that relationship, even if there is no physical evidence yet. You act as if it is already done, and in doing so, you align yourself with the reality of it manifesting. One of the most important aspects of persistent assumption is the emotional component. It is not enough to simply think about your desired outcome, you must feel it as well. Emotion adds power to your assumption and accelerates its manifestation. When you persist in an assumption, you must also embody the feelings associated with that assumption. If you are assuming wealth, feel the security, freedom, and joy that come with being financially abundant. If you are assuming love, feel the warmth, connection, and happiness of being in a loving relationship. The more you can connect emotionally with your assumption, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind, and the faster it will manifest in your physical world. Persistent assumption also requires patience. Manifestation is not always instant, and there will be times when the outer world appears to contradict your inner belief. During these times, it is essential to remain steadfast in your assumption. The temptation to give in to doubt or frustration will arise, but persistence means holding on to your assumption despite these challenges. The outer world is a reflection of past assumptions, and there may be a delay as your new assumption works its way into your reality. However, if you persist long enough, the outer world must eventually conform to your dominant belief. Persistence does not mean force or struggle. It is not about trying to will your desire into being through sheer determination. Instead, it is about quietly, confidently holding on to your assumption in a relaxed state of knowing. You trust that your assumption is already true, even if you can't see it yet. There is no need to force or control the outcome, because you understand that the power of your persistent assumption is already bringing your desire into form. The outer world will shift in response to the inner changes you make, and this shift happens naturally and effortlessly when you hold your assumption with confidence. The beauty of persistent assumption is that it allows you to move beyond the limitations of logic and physical reality. The outer world might present a set of circumstances that seem fixed or unchangeable, but when you persist in your assumption, you can transcend these limitations. You are not bound by what the outer world currently shows. You have the power to create a new reality through the persistence of your belief. The more you practice this, the more you begin to realize that the world is far more malleable than it appears. Reality is not as rigid as it seems. It is shaped by the beliefs you hold consistently. Another important element of persistent assumption is self-concept. What you persistently assume about yourself plays a crucial role in shaping your life. If you assume that you are worthy, capable, and deserving, you will attract experiences that reflect this self-concept. Conversely, if you persistently assume that you are unworthy or incapable, your life will mirror these beliefs. Therefore, a key part of practicing persistent assumption is shifting your self-concept to align with the version of yourself who already has what you desire. When you consistently assume that you are the person who has achieved your goal, your external world will begin to reflect that version of you. Persistent assumption is also about consistency. It's not something you do sporadically or only when it's convenient. It's a daily practice of affirming your desired reality and staying aligned with that belief, even when it feels challenging. Over time, this consistent focus reprograms your subconscious mind, and the outer world begins to change in response. The more consistent you are in holding your assumption, the more quickly you will see results. Persistence in assumption, combined with patience, faith, and emotional alignment, is the formula for manifesting any desire. Persistent assumption is about standing firm in your belief, regardless of what the outer world shows. It's about trusting that your inner world has the power to shape your outer reality, and knowing that, with enough persistence, your assumption will inevitably manifest. Through this practice, you begin to see yourself as the creator of your own reality, capable of manifesting anything you desire through the power of your mind. When you truly understand the power of the mind, you come to realize that no external effort is needed to bring your desires into reality. Everything begins and ends within. The external world is a reflection, an outpicturing of what is happening in your consciousness. There is no need to force, manipulate, or struggle with the outer conditions, for they are simply effects, not causes. The cause of all creation lies within the imagination, in the thoughts and beliefs you consistently entertain. By focusing on inner transformation, you allow the outer world to rearrange itself naturally and effortlessly in alignment with your desires. Many people believe that hard work, hustle, and external effort are the keys to achieving success or manifesting their desires. They exhaust themselves in trying to control circumstances, people, and outcomes. But the truth is, the more you struggle with the outer world, the more resistance you create. When you believe that external action is required to make things happen, you are operating from the assumption that the outer world is more powerful than your inner state. However, the outer world is always secondary. It follows the inner world. The moment you shift your focus inward and assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the outer world begins to change in response. No external effort is needed, because everything is already accomplished within. When you hold a clear, unwavering assumption of your desired reality, the universe, through its infinite intelligence, orchestrates events, people, and circumstances to bring it to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it will happen. Your job is to dwell in the state of having it already. The how is not your concern. This is the realm of the unseen forces at work. What you must focus on is the internal assumption that your desire is already yours. When this assumption is held consistently, the external world moves effortlessly to make it so. This does not mean that you sit idle or remain passive. However, any action you take in the external world should flow naturally from the state of already being in possession of your desire. There is a significant difference between effort and inspired action. Effort is born out of a sense of lack, struggle, or trying to force outcomes. Inspired action, on the other hand, arises spontaneously when you are aligned with the reality of your desire. It feels effortless, joyful, and purposeful because it is driven by the belief that you already have what you seek. There is no tension or stress involved, only a smooth unfolding of events, When you truly understand that no external effort is needed, you also let go of the need to seek validation or approval from others. You stop looking to the outer world for signs or proof that your desire is on its way. You trust in the power of your imagination and your assumption to bring your desire into form. The outer world will eventually catch up with your inner reality, but there is no need to push, rush, or seek confirmation. You rest in the knowing that it is already done within, and this inner knowing creates the conditions for it to manifest outwardly. This principle of no external effort being needed also liberates you from the pressure to conform to societal expectations or traditional paths of success. You understand that your inner world is the only thing that truly matters. While others may focus on external achievements, hard work, and material effort, you recognize that true creation happens from within. You no longer feel the need to compete, compare, or prove yourself, because you know that your inner state is shaping your experience. As a result, you move through life with a sense of ease, confidence, and trust, knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly according to your inner vision. No external effort is needed because the power that creates worlds is within you. The same force that governs the stars, the planets, and the cycles of nature is working through you. When you align with this power by assuming your desired state, everything else falls into place. You are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are an extension of it. Therefore, there is no need to struggle or strain to make things happen. Your role is to align your inner state with what you desire and trust that the external world will reflect this alignment in its own time and way. By understanding that no external effort is needed, you also release the need for control. You stop trying to manipulate the circumstances or people around you to fit your desires. Instead, you realize that when you change within, everything around you changes effortlessly. Control is an illusion of the ego born out of fear and insecurity. True power comes from knowing that the universe is working on your behalf, and there is no need to interfere or micromanage the process. The more you relax into the assumption that your desire is already yours, the more quickly and smoothly it manifests. This approach to life also brings a profound sense of inner peace. When you no longer feel the need to exert effort to make things happen externally, you free yourself from the anxiety, stress, and overwhelm that often accompany striving and struggling. You realize that the only effort required is mental and emotional aligning your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the reality you want to experience. Once this alignment is achieved, the rest takes care of itself. You move through life with a sense of calm assurance, knowing that the universe is conspiring to bring your desires to fruition without the need for excessive action or effort on your part. No external effort is needed because the power of creation lies within your consciousness. The outer world is a reflection, not a cause. The moment you assume the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled, the universe begins to rearrange itself to mirror that assumption. Your focus should always be on cultivating the inner state that corresponds with your desired reality, rather than trying to force or manipulate the outer world. When you master this inner alignment, the outer world moves effortlessly to match your inner vision. You become a conscious creator, shaping your reality with the power of your mind, without the need for external struggle. Inner conversations are one of the most powerful tools in shaping your reality. They are the silent dialogues that constantly take place within you, often without conscious awareness. Every day your mind is filled with inner chatter, whether it's thoughts about your circumstances, self-perception, or how you view others. These internal conversations are the blueprint of your life, because they reflect your true beliefs and assumptions. They reveal the subconscious thoughts you hold about yourself, your relationships, and the world around you. Whether you realize it or not, these conversations are shaping the outcomes you experience in your external reality. Most people underestimate the significance of their inner conversations. They believe that what they think in the privacy of their own mind has no real effect on the outer world. However, the truth is that every word spoken within, every thought entertained, and every mental image held has creative power. These inner conversations are like seeds being planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Over time, these seeds grow into the circumstances, events, and relationships that you encounter in life. Your external world is nothing more than the harvest of your inner conversations. When you engage in negative inner dialogue, self-criticism, doubt, worry, or fear, you are unknowingly affirming these states in your life. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that things never work out for you, or that you'll never succeed, these inner conversations become self-fulfilling prophecies. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between good or bad, right or wrong. It simply takes your inner conversations as truth and reflects them in your experiences. This is why it is so important to become conscious of the conversations you are having within yourself. The key to transforming your life is to take control of your inner conversations. By consciously directing your thoughts and words, you can rewrite the script of your life. When you deliberately engage in positive, empowering inner dialogues, you begin to shift the way you see yourself and the world. Instead of reinforcing limitations, doubts, or fears, you start affirming possibilities, success, and abundance. The beauty of inner conversations is that they do not require any external effort. You don't need to rely on others to change. You don't need circumstances to improve first. Everything begins with the way you speak to yourself inside. For example, if you desire a particular outcome in your life, whether it's success in your career, love in your relationships, or better health, you must start by changing the inner conversations related to those areas. If you want to manifest love, begin to speak to yourself as though you are already loved, cherished, and valued. Imagine conversations with your significant other where they express their love and appreciation for you. If you seek success, hold inner conversations where you congratulate yourself for your achievements, feel proud of your accomplishments, and affirm that success flows to you easily and effortlessly. The more you engage in these kinds of inner dialogues, the more you align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. Inner conversations are not just idle thoughts, they are the vibrational language that you send out into the universe. The energy behind your words, whether spoken aloud or within, carries a frequency that attracts corresponding experiences. If you continually dwell in thoughts of lack, fear, or unworthiness, you are sending out that frequency and will attract more of the same. Conversely, when you elevate your inner conversations to reflect abundance, love, and success, you begin to shift your vibrational state, which in turn attracts those experiences to you. The external world is simply a mirror reflecting back the state of your inner dialogue. It is also important to note that inner conversations extend beyond just how you talk to yourself. They also include how you mentally engage with others. Often people have negative inner conversations about others without realizing that they are shaping their relationships in the process. If you constantly criticize, judge, or hold resentment towards others in your inner dialogue, you are solidifying those dynamics in your external interactions. Instead, choose to have loving, compassionate, and understanding conversations with others in your mind. Imagine positive interactions and harmonious relationships, even if the current reality does not reflect that yet. As you shift the inner dialogue about others, you will begin to see changes in how those relationships unfold. One of the most powerful practices you can adopt is to consistently revise negative inner conversations as soon as you become aware of them. If you catch yourself engaging in a disempowering dialogue such as "I'll never be able to do this," or "things always go wrong for me," pause and immediately replace it with a positive affirmation. Reframe the inner conversation to reflect what you want to experience, not what you fear or doubt. Say instead, "I am more than capable," or "everything always works out for me in the most perfect way." This process of revision is transformative because it stops negative momentum in its tracks and redirects your energy toward what you truly desire. The more you practice conscious inner conversations, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you will notice that your inner dialogue begins to shift on its own, without the need for constant correction. This is because you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to operate from a place of empowerment and positivity. Your habitual inner conversations will then support the life you want to create, rather than sabotaging it. When your inner world becomes aligned with your desires, the outer world has no choice but to follow suit. Ultimately, inner conversations are the foundation of manifestation. They are the unseen creators of your reality, working behind the scenes to shape your experiences. When you take control of your inner dialogue, you take control of your life. The outer world will always reflect the quality of your inner conversations, so make them count. Speak to yourself with love, confidence, and conviction. Talk to yourself as if your dreams are already realized, and watch as your reality transforms in alignment with your inner conversations. The revision of past events is one of the most powerful tools for transforming your present reality and creating the future you desire. It is based on the understanding that the past, as we know it, is not set in stone but is fluid and can be altered through the power of imagination. Many people believe that once an event has occurred, it is unchangeable, and that its effects must be accepted. However, when you truly grasp the power of your mind, you realize that the way you perceive and emotionally respond to past events can be revised, thus altering their impact on your life. Through the practice of revision, you can reframe past experiences to align with the outcomes you desire. Our memories are not static. They are continually influenced by the thoughts, feelings, and assumptions we hold in the present. When you revisit a painful or unwanted event from the past, you often reinforce its negative effects by reliving the emotional charge associated with it. Every time you think about it, you recreate the emotional and mental state that accompanied it, thereby keeping it alive in your present consciousness. This perpetuates the unwanted conditions or feelings that stem from that event. However, revision allows you to intervene in this process. Instead of reliving the event as it originally occurred, you can reimagine it in a way that brings about the feelings and outcomes you would have preferred. Revision is not about denying or avoiding what happened. It's about reclaiming your creative power over how you interpret and integrate past events into your current reality. For example, if you experienced rejection or failure in the past, and that memory continues to haunt you or shape your current beliefs about yourself, you can use revision to rewrite the event. Instead of replaying the rejection in your mind, imagine that the outcome was different. Imagine that you were accepted, that the situation unfolded in your favor. Feel the emotions of success, acceptance, and relief as if they had truly happened. By doing this, you are changing the emotional imprint of that memory, which in turn alters how it influences your present state of being. The power of revision lies in the fact that your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the emotional and mental content you feed it. When you revise a past event with conviction and feeling, your subconscious mind accepts the revised version as truth. This new interpretation of the event then begins to shape your current beliefs, assumptions, and experiences. The revision of a past event can have profound effects on your present reality. Even if the event took place years ago, the energy tied to that memory is transformed, and the limiting beliefs or negative emotions that once held you back begin to dissolve. For example, imagine someone who grew up believing they were not good enough because of an incident in their childhood, where they were criticized or made to feel inadequate. This belief may have shaped their self-esteem and caused them to encounter repeated experiences of feeling unworthy in adulthood. By revisiting their childhood memory through revision, they can change the narrative. Instead of replaying the scene of criticism, they can imagine a different outcome, perhaps receiving praise, encouragement, or love from those involved. As they consistently revise the memory with this new, empowering outcome, they begin to rewrite their self-concept. Over time, the belief of unworthiness dissolves, and they start to experience life from a place of confidence and self-assurance. The beauty of revision is that it not only affects your inner state but also has the power to influence external conditions. When you revise a past event and change the emotional charge associated with it, you shift the vibrational frequency that you are projecting. This new frequency draws different experiences into your life, ones that match the revised state of being. For instance, if you revise a past event where you felt rejected, and you replace it with feelings of acceptance and love, you will begin to attract situations and people that reflect those feelings of acceptance. Your outer world must align with your inner state, and as you revise the past, your present and future are transformed accordingly. The practice of revision also allows you to break free from cycles of recurring patterns. Often people find themselves stuck in repetitive situations, whether in relationships, career, or personal challenges that seem to mirror past experiences. This happens because the unresolved emotions and beliefs tied to past events continue to influence their present reality. Through revision, you can break these cycles. By revisiting the root of the pattern and altering the way you perceive and feel about the original event, you change the energetic imprint that is being projected. As a result, the recurring pattern dissolves and new, more positive experiences can take its place. Revision is not limited to major life events. It can be applied to any memory, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Even minor incidents, such as a brief moment of embarrassment or a casual comment that hurt your feelings, can be revised to create a more harmonious inner state. Every time you engage in revision, you are taking control of your mental and emotional landscape, ensuring that your past does not dictate your present or future. You are reclaiming your power as the creator of your reality, rewriting the script of your life in a way that supports your desires and well-being. It is important to approach revision with a sense of conviction and feeling. The key to effective revision is to engage your imagination fully and immerse yourself in the emotions of the revised event as if it truly happened. The more real and vivid the revised scene feels to you, the more powerful its effect will be on your subconscious mind. It is through feeling and emotion that you impress your subconscious, and it is through consistent revision that you can reprogram your beliefs and assumptions. Revision is a practice of liberation. It frees you from the limitations imposed by past events, allowing you to reshape your life according to your desires. You are not bound by what has happened. You have the power to change how it affects you. By revising the past, you transform your present, opening the door to a future filled with possibilities. Manifesting through love, rather than need, is a profound and transformative approach to creating your desired reality. At its core, this principle emphasizes the importance of operating from a place of abundance, self-love, and emotional alignment, rather than desperation or lack. When you manifest through love, you align with the highest frequency of positive energy, which attracts more of what you desire into your life. This shift in perspective can lead to profound changes in how you experience life and achieve your goals. To begin, it is essential to understand the difference between need and love. Need often arises from a sense of lack or a belief that you are incomplete without something external. This feeling of lack can lead to desperation, anxiety, and a sense of urgency that ultimately repels what you seek. When you operate from a place of need, you inadvertently convey a message to the universe that you are not whole or fulfilled on your own. This energy creates resistance, making it challenging to manifest your desires effectively. On the other hand, love emanates from a place of abundance and self-acceptance. When you come from love, you recognize your inherent worth and completeness. You understand that your happiness and fulfillment are not contingent upon external circumstances or relationships. This perspective allows you to approach your desires with a sense of joy, excitement, and trust in the universe. You begin to manifest from a place of wholeness, which naturally attracts the experiences and relationships you truly desire. When you manifest through love, you cultivate a feeling of gratitude for what you already have. This gratitude creates a positive emotional state that aligns you with the energy of abundance. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you celebrate your current blessings, which elevates your vibration and enhances your ability to attract more positive experiences. For example, if you desire a loving relationship, instead of fixating on the absence of a partner, focus on the love you already have in your life, love for yourself, your friends, family, and even your passions. By cultivating this love, you create a magnetic energy that draws in the love you seek. It is also crucial to understand that love is an active force. It requires you to engage in self-love and self-care practices. When you prioritize your own well-being, you demonstrate to yourself and the universe that you are worthy of love and good things. This might include engaging in activities that bring you joy, setting healthy boundaries, and nurturing your physical, mental, and emotional health. As you build a loving relationship with yourself, you begin to radiate that love outward, attracting others who resonate with your elevated vibration. Moreover, manifesting through love involves embodying the qualities you wish to attract. If you desire a loving relationship, for instance, reflect on the qualities you seek in a partner and strive to embody those traits within yourself. Be the love you want to receive. Show kindness, compassion, and understanding to yourself and others. This alignment not only transforms your inner state, but also sends a clear message to the universe that you are ready to receive the love you are putting out into the world. Another essential aspect of manifesting through love is letting go of attachment to outcomes. When you approach your desires with love, you cultivate a sense of trust that the universe will deliver what is best for you. This trust allows you to surrender the need to control how or when your desires manifest. Instead of fixating on a specific outcome, focus on the feelings and experiences you want to evoke. For example, if you desire a new job, rather than obsessively searching for the right position, visualize yourself in a fulfilling work environment, feeling joy and satisfaction in your contributions. This shift from attachment to the outcome to an emotional alignment with the experience creates space for the universe to deliver opportunities in unexpected ways. Additionally, when you manifest through love, you engage in the practice of giving. Love is inherently generous, and the more you give, the more you receive. This can take many forms: offering your time, support, or kindness to others, or even contributing to causes you believe in. The act of giving opens your heart and expands your energy, reinforcing the abundance mindset. When you give freely without expecting anything in return, you create a flow of positive energy that naturally attracts more abundance into your life. It is also essential to maintain an awareness of your thoughts and emotions as you navigate the manifesting process. Often, limiting beliefs and negative self-talk can creep in, especially when you feel attached to your desires. Recognize that these thoughts do not define your reality. Rather, they are simply reflections of past conditioning. By cultivating mindfulness and self-compassion, you can observe these thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass without allowing them to dictate your feelings of worthiness or potential. Ultimately, manifesting through love invites you to embrace your journey with joy and positivity. It encourages you to celebrate each step along the way, recognizing that the process of creation is as valuable as the end result. When you focus on love rather than need, you cultivate a deeper connection to yourself and the universe. This connection opens doors to opportunities and experiences that resonate with your highest self. The practice of manifesting through love is a powerful and life-changing approach to achieving your desires. By operating from a place of abundance, gratitude, and self-acceptance, you align your energy with the love you wish to attract. This perspective transforms your relationship with yourself, others, and the universe, leading to a more fulfilling and joyful life. Embrace love as your guiding force, and watch as the world reflects back the beauty and abundance you have cultivated within. In conclusion, the journey of manifesting love and creating the life you desire is deeply rooted in understanding and harnessing the power of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. By embracing the principles of manifesting through love, rather than need, you shift your focus from lack to abundance, allowing you to attract the experiences and relationships that resonate with your true self. As you cultivate self-love, gratitude, and trust in the universe, you align your inner state with the frequencies of your desires, transforming your reality from within. The practice of revision and the power of imagination empower you to reshape your past and present, creating a future filled with possibility and joy. Ignoring outer circumstances and living in the end allows you to tap into the creative potential that lies within you. Faith in the unseen and persistent assumption further reinforce your ability to manifest your desires, proving that belief and conviction are essential components of this process. Ultimately, by nurturing inner conversations, maintaining a mindset of love, and letting go of attachments, you open yourself to the flow of abundance that the universe has to offer. You are not merely a passive recipient of what life throws your way. You are an active creator, capable of reshaping your reality to reflect your deepest desires. As you embark on this journey, remember that every thought, feeling, and action contributes to the life you are building. Embrace the power of love as your guiding force, and allow it to illuminate your path, leading you to a life rich with fulfillment, connection, and joy. You have within you the capacity to manifest not just your dreams, but a profound sense of peace and happiness that radiates outward, touching every aspect of your existence. Let this be the foundation upon which you build your life, knowing that the universe responds to the energy you embody and the love you project.